Alright everyone, welcome back to another Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes video with Fat Phil. Today we're going to be talking about 5 things that I would recommend you be farming. Now this is not that you should be doing every single one of these things, but they're just kind of 5 that I picked out that I think could be really important moving forward. And what I really want you to do, more so than just look at the teams themselves or what I'm asking you to do, but think about the purpose that they're serving. And I think that's the bigger concept with these kind of what should you be farming. It's the purpose behind it. You shouldn't have to worry, oh, well, Phil, I already have Rey. So, like, the purpose isn't that you're just to farm Rey. It's that you're picking a sort of mid-tier galactic legend that's going to be useful on offense and defense, right? Like, just use that kind of mentality when in any kind of video, whether it's from me or someone else, and I think you'll get a lot more out of this stuff. So let's go ahead, let's give a massive shout out to our channel members, as always, for their continued support. If you're ever interested, link down below, along with a link to the Discord. Please go check that out, guys. Thank you again. And if you are, like, have not joined the Discord yet, or you haven't subscribed yet, like, what are you doing? If you're watching me at this point, like, hit that button. Make sure you guys hit that. Let's get in here. Let's talk about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. All right, folks, so the first thing that I want to be like, hey, make sure you're farming these things, they are important, is these characters for these assault battles. Now, my thing here is I just want you to get them to 3-star minimum. Bare minimum, 3 stars to unlock that first tier of the assault battle where you can earn additional rewards. If you have them at 3-star, but you haven't put gear on them, get some gear on them, put a few abilities. These characters, being able to earn those shards over the next couple of months, however long it takes you to actually farm them, is going to be crucial to your success in this game. How you're going to be able to catch the players like myself and Egnards and, you know, Calvin Awesome and Nooch and every one of these big content creators. You're like, how do I catch up to you? It's taking advantage of events like this. And a lot of you are going to sit there and say, well, Phil, you have Relic 9s. Like, I can't catch you. It's not that I'm getting more rewards, but I'm 11.5 million. If you're earning free shards of Master Qui-Gon, Padawan Obi-Wan, and you're getting them at 2 million, 3 million, 4 million, that's significantly earlier than I got those rewards. And that's less farming that you're going to have to do that you can put into something else, right? And then as you get them and you put them to Relic 7 or whatever level, you're earning rewards at a point in your account where I was not. So that's how that's the catch-up mechanic here. That's kind of how you progress faster, is you take advantage of these areas in the game that didn't exist for those of us who, are playing now, right? That's going to be, you're going to be progressing faster by taking advantage of stuff like this. And honestly, like for Ahsoka, with the way her requirements are shaking out, with these, like, Peridia characters, like, don't feel like you need to be rushing to get them anytime soon if you're not going for Ahsoka. Just slowly work on getting those free shards from the event, and you're going to see that paying off in the long run, especially because they are on hard nose and a pain to be farming, right? So, 3-star bare minimum, and if you have them, don't be afraid to take them to relic levels. Like, I'm not gonna stop you. There's some good rewards there. All right, next is the player-friendly Night Sister team. So there was that Night Sister Lightspeed bundle that, of course, I had to just take advantage of. And there's other, Night Sisters out there, right? But the Great Mother's Morgan team is extremely player-friendly. Because the squad that you're going to end up using is kind of this, you throw Initiate in here or a mix of these girls, right? There's, you could pick and choose. But there's no Zeta for Acolyte, no Zeta for Talia, and no Zeta for Spirit. Morgan herself, right? Morgan only needs, I think it's 1 Zeta down here. And the Great Mothers need, 2 Zetas on the special and the basic. So there's 2 Zetas. So this team, which they said is supposed to be on par with Gungans, takes 3 total Zetas. 3 total Zetas for this team. When you look at the Gungans, you're looking at 3 total Zetas for Jar Jar Binks, then 2 more for Boss Nass, and then 1 for the rest of them. So it's a significantly less investment on the Zetas and significantly less on gear as well, because these 3 characters down here, they don't take Kyrotech. So you're just looking at Great Mothers and Morgan as high Kyrotech characters. I 1000% believe this Night Sister team is going to be one of those teams of, I almost want to say like team of the future. That the importance they're going to give you through beating assault battles, through galactic challenges and conquest type events. I think this one right here is going to be that ticket for a lot of players because of the, I'll say, ease of Zetas. And honestly, with the Omicron, that Great Mothers team, this team is so good in territory wars that I, really wholeheartedly believe that this is where you want to be focusing your time and attention to. I think this team, even once that Datacron disappears, is still going to be a very solid team that people are going to have to figure out how to beat, right? I think right now, obviously, they're at the peak of their powers, but for how cheap that team is, I can't, recommend them enough. The next one that I really want to point out here is Seer and Cal Jr. And Malicos as a bonus, like if you have the opportunity to get Malicos from, Proving Grounds, I'd be doing it. But Seer and Cal, these two characters are incredibly important. They go beautifully with Galactic Legends Ray for a very long time, right? They go beautifully with her, but even in their own team, they are so solid. The bigger thing that these two characters do is they can get you through the special mission on Braca to unlock Zepho. Now, yes, you do have to invest some Relic 7s into them, but honestly, these, particularly Baby Cal at Relic 7 has been one of the best investments I've made on my account. Just for additional combat missions, for Zepho, for Braca, like he has been a godsend. And for a lot of guilds who maybe can't quite make that jump to get Jedi Knight Cal Kestis, but can do 2 Relic 7s like these two characters with the right modding and strategy, which guess what? The great and wonderful Fat Phil has a modding and strategy video for you with these two characters. If your guild can start getting there sooner, that's extra Kyrotech in your back pocket. So I think that I look at these two and they're always ones that kind of stick out for me that I'm like, I still think they're worth farming solely because you don't even need Jedi Knight Cal to be able to get to Zepho. Now, obviously, Jedi Cal makes it a hell of a lot easier, but it doesn't mean it's not possible with just Baby Cal. You just really have to know the modding and the strategy to do it. And then obviously Malicos, the reason Malicos is here, again, if you're going to build these two, building him kind of is a no-brainer. The Unaligned Force Users with Seer is a fantastic team. Whether in Grand Arena, Territory Wars, Territory Battles, they're just a super solid team. Territory Battles, you kind of split this team up. You run it under Reg, and you run Malicos under, like, Lord Vader or Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, and he does some great things. But this is just such a dynamic team, and I think it can really help you get certain feats done because they've got a lot of buffs. They've got some debuffs on the team. Like, they got some good stuff here. I really don't think they get enough attention. And Malicos as that bonus unit, like, he just is so plug-and-play friendly, particularly in 3v3, that I really think that's a team I would be investing in. Honestly, even if it came down to I could pick Starkiller or I could pick Malicos, I'd pick Malicos. 1000%. All right, next is the Profundity. The Profundity, in my personal opinion, has gained a significant amount of value over the past few days because of the whole TIE Dagger buff, nerfs to everything else. Like, Profundity gained value. Not because of Punishing One. Punishing One stole value. But when they made this change to TIE Dagger, the Profundity is, like, already made the enemy team immune to turn meter. So it didn't, the Profundity going up against Leviathan didn't really change all that much. The starting ship's obviously a little bit different, and there's some of that going on. But overall, it really didn't change too much about this game, about the fight. And I think that, obviously, Admiratus, it's a great squad. There's a lot of good ways to use them. But I think with us kind of needing that consistent Leviathan counter or that type of ship, that's where Profundity's going to step in and I think really kind of help players bridge that gap between themselves and somebody else. So for a lot of you who maybe skipped over this fleet because Executor was super easy and then Leviathan was superior, I think Profundity's kind of staring you at the face now, like you might want to be getting that ship if you don't want to have to rely on a Leviathan mirror match, which is just, it's cancerous. It's so bad. So bad. One of the worst things they've done. So yeah, I definitely think Profundity kind of makes it on this list just out of that like pure necessity. And then lastly, guys, this isn't even a farm as much as it is just something to look out for, but it's mods with defensive stats. One of the big shifts this game has kind of been pushing recently is certain teams really benefiting a lot more from defensive stats rather than kind of relying on that pure offense to beat teams. That these defense mods with, health percent, defense percent, right? Like trying to get some really good mods that allow you to survive longer, right? With defense or with health and protection, right? Those kind of mods are really gaining a lot of value because it's keeping your team alive longer. Somebody like Seer Jinda, she doesn't benefit from offense, but her saber throw, right? She sticks around. You can't kill her because she's got good protection, health, and defense. And then boom, that saber throw comes out and annihilates you. Think about your Chrysanthemum. If he's sticking around longer, your Jabba team's more protected, and there's a better chance that you're going to be able to counter whatever the enemy is throwing at you. And then with like Royal Guard, this is a big one, right? I always get this comment. They're like, oh, it doesn't matter because I'm just going to snipe out your Royal Guard with Mando anyway using Fennec. Like, that's what I want you to do. I don't know that everybody fully recognizes that, but I want you to be more worried about my Royal Guard than you are Maul and Thrawn and whoever else I have in that Lord Vader team. Like, that's one of the keys to the success is the fact that the people who do end up ignoring my Royal Guard end up losing a lot of fights because they don't realize how much protection I've got on him, how much defense I've loaded onto this guy. That's one of those key factors to my Royal Guard that has really allowed him to do as well as he has with Lord Vader are those defensively minded stats. And I think that's been a big push from Capital Games. They've really been giving us more and more characters that benefit from stats like that go into teams that aren't about beating you with just a pure amount of, offense and massive hits, but instead are beating you by just out surviving you and, kind of whittling away at you over time. So that's just 5 things I'd be working on right now. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts or any of these that you are working on, any of these that you're like, hey, Phil, you know what? That's a pretty good idea. Just let me know what you're thinking. Again, we've got a lot to catch up on that I've got to get some videos out for, so really looking forward to that. One I do want to make sure we talk about is how to spend your guild event currency 3. I think a lot of players who, kind of been in my player base for a while now, getting to that point where you're earning a significantly more amount of guild event currency 3 and understanding how to spend that is going to become crucial to your success in SWGO. With that said, guys, I'm going to let you go. I love you all. May the Force be with you, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, my friends.